Welcome to the first in our series, our BCA Spotlight series. This is going to be an ongoing free presentation about 3 times a year, perhaps 4, depends on how we fit them in. This is going to be our first one. This is a wonderful opportunity to try to get together as a global group. And our first speaker is wonderful to listen to. He's got some great stuff to show us. So my name is Jamie Hayden. I'm president of the Biocommunications Association, and I welcome everybody here tonight. This first talk is going to be given to us by Manuel Martinez. He is I'm not sure of his exact title, but like many of us, he's a jack of all trades. Including the microscopist for the office, operations manager, and even sales person for Quimicatech in Mexico. And so he has been with them for 17 years and playing with microscopes for 13 of those. It's a wonderful kind of opportunity to see somebody who comes into this and at the beginning is not sure what they're working with. He'll tell you a little story about the first presentation he had to give because the other guy wasn't available. And the images that he has are just technically and visually amazing. So we first met him in Santa Fe in last year at Biocom 2023. And I look forward to seeing what he has to give to us tonight. Take it away.
Thank you, Jamie. Hi, everybody. Well, first, thank you, Jamie, Danielle, Gail, and all BCA members and volunteers for the opportunity to come here today and talk about microscopy. That is something I really enjoyed. Well, the talk today is not about the technical details of microscopy. I mean, I will not cover all the technical aspect like the equations or the theory or the microscope settings. However, if you have any question or doubt about that, please send me an email. Here on the top is my email. Here, and I will try my best to solve all your doubts and answer your questions. And well, the talk today is more about the story behind some of the images I have taken. Some of them are related to science, other ones are related to art, and most of them, as you will see later, are related to procrastination. I'm not gonna lie, I usually use microscopy to make excuses to drop all my paperwork in the office and go to play with the microscope. But well, before jumping into the main topic of today, let me tell you why I do play a lot with microscopes. Well, with my sister and my brother-in-law, we run together our own company that is Quimicatech, and we sell and distribute lab equipments and lab supplies. And of course, microscopes are part of those equipments. And we don't like delivering the microscope and telling the customer, okay, here is your microscope. Thank you very much. Ciao, auf Wiedersehen. So we put a lot of effort in making sure that the user get the most out of the microscope they have. And there is always the issue or the concern about the image quality and the resolution. And with the time, I have come to confirm that the main source of image aberrations usually sits in front of the microscope. I mean, it is the user, the one who causes all the problems. So in order to teach other people how to use the microscope, well, it is necessary that I myself, I have to not only to learn the theory, but I have to spend hours in hands-on experience in the microscope. So you have to be with the microscope. And you will see that if you work with microscopy, it's very time consuming. It's like spending hours and hours. And well, also additionally, I'm responsible in Quimicatech for generating content for our social media. One of our social media is Instagram. We are like Quimica_tech. You are very welcome to follow us. And here we try to post almost daily original photo that usually I take, not all of them, but most of them. And here we try to cover all areas like life science, material science, geology, quality assurance and control. And well, in order to generate that content, we need to, or I need to be in the microscope. Time to time, we post memes, not too much, but also, well, mainly we focus on microscopy. So now let's jump into the main topic, and microscopy as a tool for science. It is, there is no doubt about how important are the microscope in science, but there is an estimation that more or less 40% of all scientific papers that are published in journals required or used a microscope. So you can imagine that without microscopy, 40% of our science will be gone. I mean, will not exist. And when we work with microscope, we usually generate images, and a good image in science is the one that gives you information. I mean, information or data that you can analyze to solve a problem or to answer some questions, or that help you to understand the world. And here I have three examples. One is this Vicker indentation that with the microscope, we take an image, and then we measure how big is this little square in the center. And the size of the square will tell you about the hardness of the materials and the mechanical properties of the materials. The fluorescence in the material will tell you about the thermal maturity of coal and how much energy can you take out of it. And in life science, there are a bunch of examples, like pathologists will identify cancer by looking at the images on the eyepieces or on your screen, or can be very helpful, the microscopy, to understand how neurons connect to each other, how cells split and divide. And well, and usually scientists, not all of them, but it is a common issue. They could be very good scientists, very good microscopists, but they usually take the image that provide the information they are looking for, and then immediately move forward. And without knowing that maybe if they change a little bit the settings on the microscope, they will get a new image from the same sample in the same area. And this new image may not give you additional information, but maybe it could be more eye-catching. And that is very important, because this eye-catching image will give you the opportunity, maybe not always, but could give the opportunity to be in the cover of the journal and not in the middle pages. And there is a huge difference in terms of impact or reach of the communication that could be made by having the cover of the journal. And that is something that scientists, in my opinion, have to improve. And because uncommunicated science is kind of a waste of resources. And I'm not telling you that you have to disclose all your secrets. You may want to protect your research with a patent or with any strategy for intellectual property protection. But at the end of the day, the science has to be communicated. And traditionally, scientists have three ways to communicate science. One is papers in scientific journals, but who is going to read that paper? Probably only the people who is really interested in the topic. And that reduces the amount of people, or reduce the reach that you can have with this time or with this channel for communication. Other option is a conference in a congress, but again, only the people who is really interested in the topic will attend the conference in the congress. And I'm sorry for what I'm going to say, but many scientists use posters to communicate science. And in my opinion, posters are very inefficient in terms of communication. I believe that nobody read the posters, probably the friends of the person who made the poster, and sometimes the jury. But I see in Congress many people standing in front the posters and not reading at them. They sometimes they look a little bit the graphics, but I believe that it's very inefficient to communicate science with posters. And well, when we work with microscope, as we said, we usually generate images just like photography. And photography is a kind of art. And the images that we get from the microscope, we are looking at sample at such a scale that we get abstract images. Like it could be anything you want, or it don't have to be anything at all. Like I have these two examples. One in the left is the knife blade observed in a technique that is called differential interference contrast. This is the knife, and you can see the color in the blade is normal gray or stainless steel color, like not this colorful image. And all these colors are produced by the mechanical stress that is in the blade. Something similar occur with these lithium carbonate crystals. The crystal is colorless, but when we look at this crystal in polarized light, we can get these colors that are produced by the orientation of the polarizers, the thickness of the crystal, and the level of birefringence. Birefringence is a property of the material. So when we get these abstract images, we can have an advantage in terms of communication, because in science, it is necessary to have like a previous knowledge or a minimal understanding on the topic in order to receive a message or in order to receive new knowledge. It's like I cannot understand anything about quantum mechanics if I don't understand first the basic of mathematics and physics. However, in art, we have the advantage that you don't need to be artist, you don't need to be a curator or art expert in order to appreciate art. And even if you don't like it, the photos, or if you like it even better, but in any case, if you get an eye-catching image, you can get the attention of the people, and then we say, okay, I like these crystals, and then let's talk about crystallography, or let's talk about material science. And in this way, you have like a new method or new channel for communicate science. So art as science communicator, and not only as science communicator, but as marketing also. We in Quimicatech, last year, we decided to implement 2 art exhibitions with photographies taken by me on the microscope. And one of those exhibitions, we call it Birefringencia, una mirada dual. Is like in English could be like birefringence, a dual sight. And then for this exhibition, we put together 11 photos of crystal observed in polarized light under the microscope. And we received the opportunity by Science Club Mexico. Science Club is like an organization that they organize workshops and bring experts in scientific areas, like or tools, and they give this workshop for free to undergraduate students mainly. Well, the Science Club Mexico organized a workshop in Chihuahua City, and they gave us the opportunity to put the exhibition there. It was amazing to see the students looking into the crystals that maybe they were using in their experiments, but in a total different way that they have no idea they can have these images. Later, like 1 month later, we received the second opportunity for the same exhibition, and this was for the microscopy school that was organized by the Research Center for Advanced Material in Chihuahua, and they organize this workshop for microscopy, and usually welcome people from academia and the industry to learn how to use microscope. And last year we had the opportunity to put again these photos of crystals. And also the people was telling us, I have no idea that I can see, or that crystal like salicylic acid or amino acid could form those structures. And well, everybody was very happy with the exhibition, but somehow most of the attendees to the exhibition were related to science. They were scientists or undergraduate students, people who were already somehow interested in science. So we decided to set up a second exhibition, and this one we call it Flores y Florescencia, is flowers and fluorescence, and we put together 6 photos of flowers and plants observed in fluorescent. That is a contrast technique, one of my favorite. And this exhibition was set up in a coffee shop in Saltillo, Coahuila, in northern Mexico. And here the owner of the coffee shop, after the opening, like 2 or 3 weeks later, she called me and told me that they were so happy because people were going into the coffee asking, what are those pictures? And he told me, I have to learn about fluorescence because I have to explain every people who come into the coffee to have a drink and look at the photos, and they are asking, okay, what are we looking at this? And the good thing is in here is that the attendees for this, or the visitors for this exhibition, were not directly related to science or to any scientific activity. So they were like, I don't know, normal people is the correct word, but it's like people who will not attend a conference or will not read scientific papers, and definitely not posters. And they were interested to learn about fluorescence. And yeah, and this exhibition was so successful that it was planned for 1 month and ended up for 6 months in this coffee shop. And now for this year, I'm working with 3 great scientists. One is Mónica Ramírez, Ruth Rincón, and Alejandro López. Mónica and Ruth, they are managers at microscopy core facilities at the National University of Mexico. And Alejandro is also manager at the microscopy core facility at the Institute for Cancer Research in Mexico City. We are working together to set up an exhibition that we are calling it La Química de la Vida. It's like the chemistry of life. And in this exhibition, we are planning to link or to make a series of photos in order to make a connection between a meteorite, like being the kickstarter of life on Earth, and then showing the basic elements for life, amino acids and carbon, and then moving all the way up to more complex living things, all the way up to very complex tissue and cells. And well, these are not the final images, so if you want to see them, you have to go to Mexico City in May. This exhibition will be at the gates of the Tlalpan City Hall. Tlalpan is a municipality within Mexico City, and this exhibition will be on the streets. So we are aiming to show all the people who are walking by on the sidewalk in front of the Tlalpan City Hall to have a look of what we are doing in our labs in Quimicatech, also in the National University of Mexico, and the National Research for Cancer Research. And well, if you are in Mexico City, or if you plan a trip to Mexico City in May, you are very welcome to visit these photos. And now let's jump to the big part of this talk, this microscopy as tool for procrastination. And well, as mentioned before, I usually make excuses to drop my paperwork in the office and tell, okay, I need to go to play with the microscope. And this is an example. These are the LED lamp from an iPhone. Actually, you can see this little thing, it's the lamp. And well, if you have a microscope for fluorescence and also have a LED lamp for transmitted light, you should know that LEDs are autofluorescence. I don't know why, but they are. And you have to block the fluorescent light in order to avoid to get into the LEDs. Otherwise, you will get a very noisy background and you will not have this beautiful black as background. So this is well known, and I already knew it, but I decided, okay, let's go and put. I don't have any sample available, but let's put my iPhone and see what I can get. And this was supposed to be a 5-minute break from my duties, but it ended up like 2 hours playing and getting images like this. This is one of my favorites. Another example of procrastination. Last year, I had the opportunity to meet with Adan Guerrero. Adan is also one of the chief scientists at the National Lab for Advanced Microscopy. Yeah. And it is located at near to Mexico City. And Adan told me about this new method he and his team have developed in his lab, so they can calculate the super resolution image starting from a confocal or wide field single frame image. And well, super resolution microscopes are also super pricey. I mean, it is not easy for a institution to have a super resolution microscope. But with this method, you can have a super resolution images. And when Adan told me about this, I was kind of skeptic. I mean, like, it was like too good to be true. And I asked Adan, can I try this method? And he said, yeah, for sure. It is for free. You have to download Fiji. Fiji is a image processor, open source, and you download Fiji and you can run your super resolution process. So this was on Saturday, and then first thing in the morning on Monday, before opening my Outlook and reading my emails, I downloaded Fiji and started to play with this method. And well, I cannot tell you that this super resolution image has more information or additional information that you not already have from the confocal one. But well, I'm not a scientist, but the good thing is that practicing this methodology, so these methods will give you this hands-on experience that you will need later to apply it and or to explain user on how to use microscope or and how to use the image processing. So was not so waste of time. I have fun also making this analysis. Another example of procrastination. These ones are bubbles of ADTA dissolved in tequila. If you ask why I did use tequila, well, the plain answer will be I used tequila because I ran out of vodka. and well, for this one, I was in a training for phlebotomy. You know, phlebotomy, this technique to get the blood samples in order to get the analysis for glucose or cholesterol, things like that. And well, one of those tubes used to get the blood sample have ADTA in order to avoid coagulation. So I was in the training on Saturday, and Monday morning again, first thing I dissolved the ADTA in tequila, and I got these bubbles. And the interesting interesting thing here is that the microscope in the objectives, you have the magnification that is, for example, 10x or 20x, 50x, and then there is a number that in this number is the numerical aperture. So this numerical aperture is like the ability that the objective has to capture light. So the higher the numerical aperture, the more light go into the system and the better the resolution. But also in the frame of the microscope or in the condenser, you have a diaphragm. And this diaphragm, you can open it and close it, and it's more or less like the aperture in a normal camera. So the theory tells you that you have to match the numerical aperture with the aperture of on the microscope. So in this case, for this image, I was using a objective of 50x with a numerical aperture of 0.8, which means that I have to open almost to the max the diaphragm in the frame of the microscope. When I do that, I have the best resolution possible. And yeah, the image was very beautiful in terms of resolution, but I lost contrast. And that contrast is what made me or allow me to see these rays that looks like they are connecting the bubbles. So here I did just the opposite. I close to the minimum the diaphragm in the frame of the microscope. So I lost or I sacrificed resolution, but I got this rays. And here the advice or the recommendation is, yeah, pay attention to the theory, but don't be afraid to try something new or just the opposite. And this image is also one of my favorites. And last year won the second prize at the Nano Artography contest organized by the Drexler University, and also will be on exhibition next week in Switzerland, in an exhibition organized by Figure 1A, this a group of scientists and artists that they are pushing together this symbiosis between science and art. And well, this one also a very special one. This was Wispy. Well, his original name was Whisper in the shelter, but when we adopted him, we decided to call him Wispy, and was our office dog. And most of his duty was to take naps under my desk, like this one, or under the desk of the secretary, or just in front of the microscope room. And well, Wispy died in 2020, and we decided to incinerate him. And when my wife and I went to the bed to pick up the ashes, my wife looked at me and immediately told me, "Oh, you don't bring the ashes under the microscope." And I say, "Okay, I will not bring the ashes of Wispy under the microscope today." Today, not. And of course, I did it. Like it would be kind of so naive to think that I will not bring random things under the microscope. So I didn't bring it that day. I keep my promise. And these are the ashes of Wispy in fluorescence. But when I took this image in 2020, it was for me like nothing. I mean, I was not impressed. No emotions came out by seeing these ashes. So I leave it. But then last year, I don't know how or why I got this flashback, and like the question, why instead of seeing this big particle of the ashes, why not look at the very tiny thin dust that fly away when you pour the ashes from one bag to another, or from one recipient to another? And so what I did was I put a small drop of immersion oil for fluorescence. This immersion oil is special, so will not fluoresce, or at least not in the visible spectrum. and I smear it in a microscope slide. So I create a very thin layer of oil in the slide, on this slide. And then I put this slide very near to two boxes of with the ashes, and I starting like pouring the ashes from one bag to another in order to capture this tiny dust that was flying away. And this is what I got. This was also like 5 minutes break, and then I find out like amazing how these ashes starting to dissolve in the immersion oil, and especially when I uh, put the lamp to the max. Like, of course, the fluorescent lamp give you heat and will warm up the sample, and then I got this dissolving the ashes in the microscope. And then, of course, I started to play around, like trying different filters, trying different lamps, different illumination settings, like oblique illumination, try dark field illumination for fluorescence. Then I try different ways to capture the ashes on this slide. And I spent, I told you, it was like a 5 minute break. And the first day I ended up like playing like 3 hours. And the next day I was playing like 4 hours again. And here I got all those feelings that I didn't have in the previous image. And for me, it was looking like with a telescope to the stars, to the universe. And of course, I have to tell my wife about this, and she told me, okay, why it took you so long to get those images? And I also showed this to some friends, and later some friend of them called me and asked me if we can use or do the same with the ashes of the late parent or with the ashes of his late son. And for me, it was like, yeah, it is a honor that you trust me with such a task. But I cannot tell you that the outcome will be something nice or beautiful. I mean, these images, yeah, they spark emotions for me, but it not necessarily will do that for you. And I'm not sure if that will make you feel better or worse. But yeah, we can try. And yes, we tried, and I'm not sure, but I think they were happy with the results. And so, almost finished. My recommendation, if you work with a microscope or with any device that generate images, um, well, first, as long as you don't break the microscope, don't be afraid to challenge the system. I mean, the theory will tell you you have to do this, but don't be afraid to do just the opposite, maybe just for fun. Also, do not procrastinate. Procrastination is bad, but if you have to, like me, well, at least make it worth it. Like, try something that probably will end in a good thing. Not necessarily that you have to win a Nobel Prize, but something that make you happy. And finally, if you are a scientist, uh, give R a chance to communicate STEMs. Give a chance the R to communicate science, and I'm pretty sure it is a good channel to promote your research and your knowledge. And well, I think that's it. Here is my my email. And also, this QR code has my contact data, and I will be very happy to answer all your questions.
Thank you, Manuel. That was fantastic. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed the presentation. I certainly did. We look forward to seeing you all at our next one.